You didn't lose them by accident, you didn't push them away by mistake. And this silence you feel right now, it isn't empty, it's intentional. Because God is removing people from your life for a reason. Even when it hurts, even when it feels like a piece of your heart is being torn away. Even when you replay the memories, wondering what went wrong. Because sometimes, what feels like rejection is actually divine protection. Sometimes the goodbye you didn't want is the rescue you didn't see coming. And God sees what you cannot see. He hears conversations you were never meant to hear. He knows intentions that were hidden behind smiles. And He will never allow what is meant to harm you to stay longer than necessary. Even if your heart tries to hold on. Even if your mind begs for answers. Even if your soul feels the weight of loneliness in the quiet moments of the night. Because not everyone who walked into your life was sent to stay. Some were lessons. Some were warnings. Some were mirrors, showing you what you needed to heal. And some were simply passing through. And God, in His infinite wisdom, knows exactly when their season is over. And when He removes them, it is not punishment, it is preparation. It is not cruelty, it is mercy. Because He is making space. For something greater. Something purer. Something aligned with your purpose. And you may not understand it now. You may cry. You may question. You may feel abandoned. But God has never left you. Not for a second. Not for a moment. He is right there in the breaking. Right there in the silence. Right there in the tears you thought no one saw. Working behind the scenes. Rearranging your life. Redirecting your path. Restoring your peace. Because some connections drain your spirit. Some relationships distract your calling. And some people can only walk with you so far. Before they begin to pull you away from where God is leading you. And He loves you too much to let that happen. So He steps in. Not always gently. Not always in ways you expect. But always with purpose. Always with love. Always with a plan. That is bigger than your understanding. And one day, you will look back at this moment. At this pain. At this separation. And you will finally see it clearly. You will see why it had to happen. You will see what God was protecting you from. You will see how He was shaping you. Strengthening you. Preparing you. For something you once prayed for. But were not ready to receive. And in that moment, the confusion will turn into clarity. The pain will turn into gratitude. And the loss will turn into a testimony. So don't chase what God is removing. Don't hold on to what He is taking away. Don't beg for what He has already decided is not part of your future. Because what God removes, no one can restore. And what God has prepared for you, no one can take away. Trust Him in the letting go. Trust Him in the silence. Trust Him in the unknown. Because He is not taking something from you. He is making room. For what truly belongs to you. And what is meant for you. Will never require you to lose your peace to keep it. So let go. Breathe. And believe. That even now, in this very moment, God is working all things together for your good. Even the loss. Even the pain. Even the people who walked away. Because nothing in your life is wasted. When it is placed in God's hands. Nothing is meaningless. When He is in control. And every removal is leading you closer to your divine purpose. Closer to your calling. Closer to the life He designed just for you. So trust the process. Trust His timing. And most of all, trust His heart. Because He knows exactly what He is doing. Even when you don't. You thought the hardest part was watching them walk away. But the truth is, the hardest part is choosing not to follow. Choosing to stay where God placed you. Even when your heart wants to run back to what felt familiar. Because healing begins the moment you stop chasing what God has already removed. And right now, in this quiet space, where their voice is gone, and their presence is no longer around you, God is doing His deepest work inside you. He is teaching you how to stand without leaning on people who were never meant to hold your weight. He is teaching you how to find peace without depending on someone else's presence. And it feels uncomfortable. It feels unfamiliar. It even feels lonely. But this is where strength is born. This is where faith grows. This is where your identity is rebuilt. Not on people. Not on validation. Not on temporary connections. But on something eternal. Something unshakable. Something rooted in Him. Because the truth is, some people were never aligned with your future. They were only connected to your past. And God had to separate you from them, so you could step fully into the life He has prepared for you. A life where you are not constantly drained. Not constantly doubting your worth. Not constantly questioning your value. But a life filled with purpose, clarity, and peace. And yes, you may still have moments. Moments where you miss them. Moments where you wonder if things could have been different. Moments where your heart whispers their name in the silence. But do not let temporary emotions make you question a permanent decision that God has already made for your good. Because what He removed with intention. And what He kept away for your protection. Even when you didn't understand it. Even when it broke you. Even when it felt unfair. Because God is not just concerned about your comfort. He is concerned about your calling. And sometimes your calling requires separation. Sometimes your purpose demands distance. Sometimes your growth begins with goodbye. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you will begin to see the beauty in what once felt like loss. Because every door God closes is not meant to trap you. It is meant to redirect you, to guide you towards something better, something healthier, something that aligns with the person you are becoming, not the person you used to be. And you are not the same anymore. You are growing. You are evolving. You are stepping into a new version of yourself that cannot carry old connections that no longer fit. So release them. Not with anger. Not with bitterness. But with understanding. With faith. With quiet confidence that if God allowed them to leave, then they were never meant to stay. And what is truly meant for you will come without confusion, without chaos, without compromise. It will come with peace, with clarity, with a deep sense of rightness that you won't have to question. So don't look back. Don't reopen doors that God has already closed. Don't revisit places He has already delivered you from. Because your future is not behind you. Your future is ahead of you. And God is already there, preparing it, shaping it, aligning it with His perfect will. So keep moving forward. Keep trusting. Keep believing. Even when it's hard. Even when it hurts. Because every step you take in faith is a step closer to the life God has destined for you. And one day, you will thank Him for every person He removed, every door He closed, every moment that didn't go the way you planned. Because it all led you exactly where you were meant to be. And one day, without warning, without striving, without chasing, You will feel it. A peace so deep, it silences every question. A calm so powerful, it settles every storm inside your heart. And in that moment, you will realize God was never taking from you. He was transforming you. Because the same hands that removed people from your life were the same hands protecting your destiny, guiding your steps, rewriting your story in ways you could never imagine. And you will begin to see that what once broke you actually built you. What once hurt you actually healed you. What once felt like an ending was only the beginning of something greater, something purer, something divinely designed just for you. And the emptiness you once feared will no longer feel like loss. It will feel like space. Space for growth. Space for peace. Space for the right people to enter your life at the right time. Because God never removes without replacing. He never subtracts without adding something better. Something aligned. Something that will not confuse you, or drain you, or pull you away from who you are called to be. And as you walk forward, you will notice the difference. You will feel the shift. You will see how your life begins to flow instead of force. How your relationships begin to feel safe instead of uncertain. How your heart begins to rest instead of constantly fighting for love. And that is when you will understand God's plan was never to harm you, never to leave you empty, never to abandon you in your pain, but to elevate you, to protect you, to bring you into a life where you no longer have to beg for what is already meant for you. And the people who are truly meant to stay will not have to be chased. They will not have to be convinced. They will not have to be held together by your effort alone. Because what comes from God comes with peace, comes with clarity, comes with a quiet assurance that you are exactly where you need to be. And when you reach that place, you will no longer question why certain people left. You will no longer replay old memories with regret. You will no longer carry the weight of what could have been. Because you will be too focused on what is. Too grateful for what God has done. Too aligned with the purpose He has placed on your life. And everything that once confused you will finally make sense. Every tear will have meaning. Every loss will have purpose. Every removal will reveal the protection behind it. And you will stand there, stronger than before, wiser than before, closer to God than ever before, knowing with certainty that nothing and no one that was removed from your life was ever part of your final destination. Because what God has written for you cannot be erased. What He has prepared for you cannot be blocked. And what He is bringing into your life will not require you to lose yourself to keep it. So keep walking. Keep trusting. Keep surrendering. Because the same God who removed them is the same God who is leading you into something far greater than you ever lost. And now, you are standing in a place you never thought you would survive. A place where the noise is gone. The attachments are gone. The people you once depended on are gone. And all that remains is you and God. And it feels unfamiliar. It feels quiet. It even feels uncomfortable. But this is not emptiness. This is alignment. Because when God begins to elevate your life, He will first begin to separate your life. He will remove distractions. He will remove confusion. He will remove anything that no longer matches where He is taking you. And yes, it will feel like loss. But in the spirit, it is actually a shift. A shift in direction. A shift in identity. A shift in purpose. Because you cannot carry old people into new seasons. You cannot hold on to what broke you and expect to become whole. You cannot stay connected to what kept you stagnant and expect to walk into growth. So God, in His mercy, cuts the ties, closes the doors, and clears the path. Not to hurt you, but to heal you. Not to punish you, but to position you. Because where He is taking you requires a different mindset, a different level of faith, a different kind of strength. And the version of you that was attached to them cannot go where God is leading you now. That version had to end, so a new version could begin. And maybe that's why it felt so painful. Because it wasn't just about losing them. It was about losing the old you. The you who tolerated less. The you who settled. The you who stayed too long. The you who ignored the signs. But look at you now. You're still standing. Still breathing. Still moving forward. And even though it hurt, even though it broke you for a moment, it did not destroy you. It refined you. It awakened you. It brought you closer to God. In ways comfort never could. Because sometimes, God will allow things to fall apart, so everything can fall into place. And now, you are stronger. Not because life was easy, but because God was faithful. And you are wiser. Not because you knew everything, but because God taught you through it. And you are closer to your purpose. Not because you planned it perfectly, but because God redirected you completely. So don't regret the separation. Don't mourn what God has already moved. Don't wish for what no longer fits your life. Because what is ahead of you is far greater than what is behind you. And what God is building in your life right now is something no person could ever take credit for. It is divine. It is intentional. It is unstoppable. So stand firm. Even in the silence. Even in the waiting. Even in the unknown. Because this is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of your transformation. And the same God who removed them from your life is the same God who is about to reveal why it had to happen in ways that will leave you speechless. So trust Him. Even now. Especially now. Because everything is aligning exactly the way it should. And when the time is right. When your heart is no longer desperate. When your soul is no longer searching for what God already removed. That is when everything will begin to fall into place. Not forced. Not rushed. But divinely aligned. Because God does not rebuild your life with confusion. He rebuilds it with peace. With clarity. With purpose. And the same space that once felt painful will become the place where your greatest blessings arrive. The same silence that once made you feel alone will become the evidence that God was working all along. Quietly. Patiently. Perfectly. And you will notice. You are no longer chasing people. You are no longer begging for attention. You are no longer trying to hold together what keeps falling apart. Because God has shifted something inside you. He has given you discernment. He has given you strength. He has given you a new standard. And now, you recognize what is real. You recognize what is right. You recognize what is sent by Him. Because anything that comes from God will never bring chaos into your life. It will never make you question your worth. It will never pull you away from your peace. It will come gently. It will come clearly. It will come with a quiet confirmation, deep in your spirit. And this time, you won't ignore the signs. You won't settle for less. You won't go back to what God already freed you from. Because you understand now that every removal was necessary. Every ending had purpose. Every goodbye was part of God's plan. And the people who left were not strong enough to walk with you into the future God has prepared for you. Because where you are going requires peace, requires focus, requires alignment. And God is not going to let anything or anyone interrupt what He is about to do in your life. So stay ready. Stay grounded. Stay connected to Him. Because what is coming will not confuse you. It will confirm everything. It will answer the questions. It will heal what once hurt. And it will show you that God was never late. He was always on time. And when it finally arrives, you won't have to fight for it. You won't have to force it. You won't have to fear losing it. Because what comes from God stays with purpose, stays with peace, stays with divine covering. And in that moment, you will look back at every person God removed, every door He closed, every season that broke you, and you will finally understand it was all leading here to this version of you. Stronger, wiser, unshakable, aligned with your calling, walking in your purpose, and surrounded by what truly belongs in your life. So don't fear the endings. Don't question the removals. Don't resist the process. Because God is not taking something good away from you. He is removing what no longer fits. So He can give you what you truly deserve. And what He is about to do in your life will be undeniable, unexplainable, and unforgettable. So keep trusting. Keep believing. Keep walking with Him. Because your story is not ending. It is finally beginning.